Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Beer Garden again. Today, along with Steve, Nathan, and myself, we are going to talk about the Sunday race card at Charene today. There will be 4 races on the all-weather, and the remaining 6, will be on the turf. Quite a lot of good horses will be competing today, and the weather is perfect right now, just a bit dry, so remember to drink more water for yourself. And so we just had an enjoyable week. And yesterday, because we had some good Hong Kong representative having some good results at Dubai. And also our Hong Kong champion jockey, Zach Burton, went to Australia yesterday. How was his performance at Sydney? Nathan, can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, he was outstanding. He had an excellent day. He almost should have rode a treble. He rode a double. Both of his wins coming in the Group 1s, the Canterbury Stakes and also the
Yeah.
Randwick Guineas, both absolute peaches of a ride, and comes off after obviously getting his 100th win in the season on Wednesday night at Happy Valley. So he was flying when he got over here, and a lot of good judges. It's one of those things when you see Zach Purton in the form book, even when it's been a while since he's been back in
Mm.
Australia, everyone took note, and uh, Twitter and racing fans alike went ablaze when he got up, particularly on Artorias. A renowned sort of place getter, very talented galloper. Went on a bit of a world tour, and then Zach Purton jumps on board. Rode him a little bit more positively, though he was still back in the field, and he came on very, very nicely over the 1,300 metres on Artorias. It was an absolute peach of a ride. He weaved between gallopers, and even post-race, he was very, very impressed by the horse. And then he came out on a big, I think it was about 18-1 you could have got for Communist coming out and winning the
Yeah.
Randwick Guineas. He was just, the way he just manages to get horses to settle under him, I don't think there's a better jockey in the world at doing it. And to announce himself, he announced himself in Hong Kong, and obviously, I think he's put together, 8 seasons worth of 100+ winners since arriving over there.
Mm.
To come back to Australia and still show that he's clearly in amongst the best in our country, with obviously Hugh Bowman's, and then you got James McDonald. He was the talk of the town yesterday, but
Yeah.
Zach Purton came home and really stamped his authority as one of the best, world's best, and it was great to have him back. And hopefully, later on in the year, he might even come back again.
Yeah, definitely. And also the Hong Kong local, the media are also keep reporting his great results at
Mm.
Renwick yesterday. So, but this time today at Shardin and the next meeting at Happy Valley, he will be suspended. So we will see him return to the Hong Kong track next week. So let's start to talking about today's tips. The first leg of the treble race, it is a class 2 over 1,800 meters, and it is on a turf ground. Let me start with Nathan. Who do you pick in race 8?
Yeah, a good race to kick us off. I think it's a very open race, and the market seems to agree. They got Champion Dragon opened up on the Jockey Club as the favourite. We saw Running Glory come out last time, and he won very, very impressively in this class, and had to carry the weight, and has to do the same thing on Sunday afternoon. But for me, I'm going with a horse down the bottom of the weights, and a horse that I've had a lot of time for. I think this is his day on Sunday afternoon. That's number 9. Viva Chaleur. Hopefully, we can keep bouncing off the number 9s we were typically on Wednesday night, because that seemed to go all right. We'll keep going
Mm,
with the 9s now
yeah,
in the
right.
first leg of the treble. Look, you go back to his last start behind Carroitus. That was in Class 3 and at the unsuitable track for mine. I don't think he liked Happy Valley. He got back from barrier 12. He had to go back to last. And we saw Carroitus come out and demolish that. Well, not demolish them, but win in impressive fashion. Got
Mm,
over the top of them late, and now goes back up in grade. I think that's a smart move. Gets down very, very light in the weights, and I think that'll help his cause. Gets him with the 115 pounds. So we get Vincent Ho back on board as well after Hugh Bowman rode last start. No negative on Hugh. It's just one of those rides where he just was forced back. Prior to that, he was in the first leg of the 4-year-old series in the Classic Mile. Very slowly run race. Again, just didn't suit. Drew badly. And that's the key for me. He just keeps drawing bad barriers. Since he's arrived in Hong Kong, what's he drawn? He's drawn 10, 13, 11, 9, and 12. So every time
yeah.
they've been forced to be negative. And if you go back to his first 3 runs of the prep, they've been all really impressive. Yes, first up, he was 5.5 lengths off Oriental Smoke, but that was 1,200 metres. And then subsequently, he had a 1,400-metre run. It was a length off Blaze Warrior, who's going to be competitive in the Class 1
Mm,
earlier in the day. And then Drombeg Banner, who, has been one of those horses that goes up on speed, tends to kick late. And so all of his runs seem just to have very slow tempos, and hopefully if they go a little bit quicker, Drawn Gate 2, Vincent Ho can be a little bit more positive. If he can find the back of the leaders here, I think at around, what's he, about 550? I think that's a pretty good price for a horse that's definitely going to just keep improving with racing. And the 1800 metres looks ideal. He looks like a horse that wants to be stepping out and trip and then getting the last crack at them late. I think he's a nice bet. On the program, one of the better bets of the day. Another horse I got time for, I tipped him last time and he gave me a sight. That's Butterfield. I'm a big fan of him in this grade, particularly. I think he finds another nice race here and he gets a nice little weight swing on Running Glory from his last effort. So if I had another bet in the race, Butterfield's probably it. You're getting a decent price at around 8-1. So I'll go with Viva Chaleur, though. He's been very consistent without a lot of luck. And now from Barrier 2, hopefully he can get some. Vincent Ho, he's just been riding very, very well as well. So no negatives with him. And then obviously because of the weight, that's why Bowman can't get on. And I think Bowman's in for a big day. Hence he jumps on Running Glory. He's obviously a danger. But I'm going to be with Viva Chaleur. I think it's a very good bet on the program. And hopefully we can kick off the treble with a winner.
Yes, that's right. Number 9, Viva Chaleur. This time he's breaking from Gates 2, which will be quite ideal for him. And more importantly, he is also a 4-year-old. So the 4-year-old Classic Series, the Hong Kong Derby will be run at the end of this month. So we can see that so many 4-year-old competitors that they need to be perform quite better so that they can be entered to the big race. So Steve, do you also like a 4-year-old here?
Yes, I like Viva Chaleur, number 9, drawn to Casper Fowens, one of 3 trainers to be doubly represented. And of course, he's got very good juvenile form. If you go back to France when he was trained by the master trainer André Fabre, won his maiden in Paris Longchamp, and then he culminated his 2-year-old career with a second at Newmarket. He was an even money favourite that day. He was beaten by Modern Games, but look what Modern Games did. He went on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf at Del Mar. And then as a 3-year-old, he won the French 2,000 guineas, the Woodbine Mile in Canada, and then over to Keeneland for the Breeders' Cup Mile. So he was beating a very classy horse that day. Yeah. And yes, 5 runs so far. I liked his run, three back as well. A nice low weight. He was 4th to John Beg Banner. And he was then quite disappointing in the first of the 4-year-old series. But he bounced back. I liked his run on the latest occasion and showed a lot of promise. As Nathan alludes to, the barriers have been very much against him. How can you keep having such bad luck? But it happens sometimes. 10, 13, 11, 9 and 12 finally bags a good barrier and reunited with Vincent Ho, the wooden Basset gelding, reunited with him. And I don't think Vincent Ho has been riding better. Certainly, I think he's riding Golden 60 better than he ever has. It's a fantastic. Yeah. Many other chances, many other horses, of course, Running Glory as well, and the likes of Champion Dragon. But he spurned a winning opportunity last time. He's hard to win with these days, Tony Cruz. Time before that, I thought he was going to defeat my 5G patch, but he found one too good there as well. And the Irishman, stylish winner last time in a Class 1 handicap, has to be respected under Silvestre de Souza. But Viva Chaleur, it's a nice low weight. He's a horse with real ability. You saw that as a 2-year-old, and he's one of the few one of a few in this race who really does look like he's capable of a lot more. And the 1800 meters won't do any harm either. So that's one for me. Quite a confident pick, I think, Viva Chaleur.
Oh, nice. So Nathan and Steve have an agreement on number 9, Viva Chaleur. Time I think he's having quite a good chance because of the lightweight is very important for him. And actually for me, I think there are so many good horses to pick in this race. We have the Running Glory, who already proven the top weight is not a concern for him last time out, and also Hugh Bowman on board again, and also several horses having good form. The Irishman just went well at Happy Valley last time. But I will have a small bet on number 2, Savinai, and it is good to have a each way bet on him because this Douglas White runner will be resuming after a spell of 84 days. And recently, we saw that Douglas White also have some horses that also perform quite well after a spell, just like HK Dragon and also Carroll Street both went well after the rest. So this time, hopefully, Savinai can also have the same performance. Ruamai will be on board. He partnered this horse to finish 3rd earlier in this season. And actually, I as a 7-year-old right now, he is still competitive because at the beginning of the season, he just finished third behind California Spangle. So I believe he is still competitive, still able to have some good performance at the age of 7. So this time also a good draw for him, Gates 5. I think if he breaks well, he can follow the leaders. Which will probably be Champion Dragon, but this time up in class, and he is the current favorite. I'm a bit concerned. There is a bit concern on him, so I will go for an outsider, number 2, Safi Knight. So to recap, race 8, Nathan and Steve agree with number 9, Viva Shala, and I will go for number 2, Safi Knight, and he will also be my value bet for the day. And the second leg of the treble we are going to talk about, it will be race 9. It is a class 3 over 1,200 meters on the all-weather track. Nathan, who do you fancy in race 9?
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Adderville is the clear favourite, and deservingly. I mean, he's just come out on the all-weather and become a new horse. He's gone bang, bang, absolutely carved them up last time in Class 4, but I just don't want to be with him at the short quote. Look, I guess you know what you're going to get now on the all-weather, but for me, there's a lot of value outside of him, and so when you get a race like that and you're not confident on the shorter price favourite, I think you can sort of play at a couple at a bigger price. And the one I've landed with is number 8, Elon. Now, you're currently getting $9 on the Jockey Club. I nearly made him one of my value runners of the day. I just thought it was a bit too open, and you could have a few bets. Flying Dragon's one that's popped up in my mind a few times. Lightning Bolt looks an interesting galloper. And also even like a horse, down the bottom of the page or even the top, like Street Scream at the top. He was a little bit unlucky last time, and even High Rise Soldier. So there's a lot of interesting types, but I've gone with Elon for a few factors, and one of them is I kept looking at this race. I kept thinking, if Zach Purton was in this race, what would he ride? And I think it would have been Elon. He rode it last time, and he was very, very close without winning. He ran in behind Flying Dragon, gets a nice little weight swing on him, gets into the bottom of the weights in this race, gets him with 116 pounds for John Size. And I just feel like from barrier 11, if he can find any cover in a nice enough spot, he might even follow Adderville throughout from barrier 9. If they can just get his back, I think he's the one that can be flying over the top late. And you're going to get a price. You're getting $9. I think that's purely because Zach Purton's not on. If he was on, I think you can half the quote. I think he'd be $5. I just think it's one of those things where the Purton factor is a very, very key one, and the market gravitates to what he's on. And so with that in mind, we're going to get an overs price on some of his gallopers, not all of them, on Sunday afternoon. And so this is one of them. I think if he can find some luck on the all-weather, which he seems to thrive on. He's a multiple winner on the all-weather, and he seems to do it really, really well. If you had any reservations, it's 1,200 metres. Maybe he wants to start to peak up to the 1,650, but I thought he was impressive enough behind Flying Dragon last time. They ran pretty good time as well, 109.2, so they didn't go slow. It's just Adderville's got, this sort of recent form that does jump off the page. His last start win, he ran a 108.9, and then prior to that, he ran a 108.4. So he just seems to be flying on the all-weather circuit. So he definitely terrifies me. He's one of the dangers for sure. But the price that we're getting for Elon, I think he's one we can back on the each way with some confidence. I like Antoine Hamlin as well. He's very underrated. And once he gets a couple of nice rides, he can show his best. He's a very talented jock. So happy to see him get on board. I think he can get a win on Sunday as well. I'll land with Elon in a race where I feel like you can make a case for a few.
Yes, Elon, number 8 in race 9. I think he is a course and distance specialist. He always won well over the all-weather track, and he is really honest. And Cyprian is suspended today, so Anton Hamlin takes the ride, and this French jockey is having quite a good result recently. What about you, Steve? Who do you like in race 9?
Yeah, similar sentiments actually with Nathan. I think Adderville, he was a good winner 2 back, and then he routed the field. He's even more impressive last time. You do wonder if there was a slight flattering of that result to a degree. I don't know. Like of Noble One, who's hard to win with, California Concord, maybe not the horse he was. They were kind of in his wake. And a 12-pound hike is a 12-pound hike. He goes up in quite a lot. And, you can make a mistake sometime of just keep backing them because you think they're going to consistently win, but weight stops trains eventually, and because of his position at the head of the market, he does give some value to some of the others, including Elon. I went for number 5, Lightning Bolt, drawn 4. Lyle Hewitson was on board 2 back, a nice win that day. He's 2 from 12 on the all-weather. As I say, nicely drawn this time. And last time, he had no luck at all. He's behind a few of these runners, the likes of Elon and Flying Dragon. but making smooth progress near the rail under Hugh Bowman, and then he just met a cul-de-sac basically, and it was a case of being coasting home. But I mean, he was still a few lengths off at the end, but how close he would have got is anyone's guess. And he's reunited with Lyle Hewitson again this time. He's a very nice horse, and I think Lightning. And as I say, I think thanks to Edifield's position at the market, you're getting some juicy prices about amongst some of the others. I think Elon is Nathan alludes to interesting too. I mean, he's got a high draw, but it's interesting that the 2 wins he has had on the all-weather have come from gates 11 and 12. So he actually quite enjoys having a wide trip, wide barrier, being held up. Antoine Hamlin, a good jockey, of course. Street Scream, well, I think all of the evidence suggests he prefers turf, but of course you can never rule these things out. You can sometimes get a horse that just comes to life, as Adeville has shown. But I think Street Scream, he kind of falls for me into the California Deep League category of a horse that's had a very successful season. He now seems to be getting back in his races a little bit too far, and he makes rapid ground later. But of course, when you're making ground later on, you're also hostage to fortune because you're coming behind a wall of horses, and that is problematic on the dirt as well. Another one to mention, also High Rise Soldier. He's a horse that, on the face of it, is probably ready for a class drop. But no offense to Jack Wong, it's nice to, I think Keith Young's probably a better jockey to be on. And for a horse that's probably got a lot to do in this company, he's also a horse that, to my eyes, he finds a lot for pressure. And who's to say he can't make the frame at a big price? But for me, certainly Lightning Bolt. I've also included Elon as well in my blog as a good chance. The Frenchman Antoine Hamlin, great jockey, but Lightning Bolt, bit of a Lyle Hewitson loving for my blog this time. So I hope he has a good day. The South African Lightning Bolt will do for me.
Yeah, right. Lyle Hewitson gets a lot of good ride later in this afternoon at Charene. And number 5, Lightning Bolt in race 9 is one of them, because last time it was too unlucky. It was just like there was a wall in front of the horse when he was accelerating. But this time, hopefully, will be better for him. And for me, I think in this race, it is quite wide open because it is not a usual class 3. We see that number 1, the top weights here, Street Scream is rated 84. So many other horses that can be favorable in terms of their weight. So one of them will be my selection, number 7, Flying Dragon. He is a last time winner. He won over the course and distance, also under Harry Bensley last time out. He was in a 14-1 chance last time, and he stayed in front and then made it winning by neck. But he was carrying 120 pounds last time out when he was winning. But this time he will be carrying 117. So there the weight will be favorable for him. And also, gets the same jockeys on board. Harry Bensley will be riding again. Gate 5 will be also quite ideal for him. So hopefully this time, Flying Dragon can stay in the front and then keep till the end, just like last time out how he won the race. But another quick mention about number 2, Edios, because he is a horse that I always like him to race at the city circuit. But this time moving to the all-weather track for the first time, his pedigree actually supports him to do so. So this time also favorable from the weight, 128 pounds. I think he also have some good chance. So maybe it is a race 9. It is a good race for us to look for some outsider. So my pick number 7, Flying Dragon, is also now 13-1. So hopefully he can have some good performance back to back. So to recap, race 9, Nathan goes for number 8, Elon. Yes, right. Number 8, Elon. And Steve goes with number 5, Lightning Bolt. And my pick will be number 7, Flying Dragon. So the last leg of the treble, race 10, we are going to talk about. It is a class 3 over a mile on the turf. Nathan, who do you like in the final race of the card?
Yes, very, very keen on one here down the bottom of the page. I think he's just a horse that just seems to keep finding trouble. It just needs some luck. I'll go to number 12. That goes by the name of Ching. This horse, this preparation has been outstanding. He's found the frame on every occasion if you count the 4th placings. He's run 2nd, 4th, 3rd. He got his win 2 back. And then he should have beat Flying Mojito. I really thought Flying Mojito was due. It was a very good win, but my word, he found some bad luck, didn't he? He was due barrier 6 on that occasion, back in class 4. had to lug the top weight as well from back in the field, and he just ended up getting pushed further back and further back as the race went on. It was just an unfortunate set of circumstances for Lyle Hewitson. He did nothing wrong, just one of those ones where he just had to keep getting pressed back, and then once he popped the question, the race was pretty much over, because then he had to check off heels, go between gallopers. It was just a nightmare. So if you're on him that day, I feel like you have to be forgiving of him and be backing up again, particularly since he steps up in grade and gets that big weight drop down here. Gets him, relatively well as well for this race at 118 pounds. There's a lot of nice horses in this race, but for me, a lot of them are staying types that probably want further than the mile. Honestly, you look at the one at the top of the page, the main danger for me is number 1, Alacrity. I think I got that one right. I probably got it wrong. I'm sure someone will let me know on Twitter. And then it just seems like a very nice horse. I thought his first up run behind Beauty Eternal was enormous, but he did get the saloon passage up the rail. So I'm a little bit cautious as to whether or not that was, whether you can take that on face value. And then just in general, a little bit of second up syndrome, second up to the mile, sometimes can be a little bit of an undoing for some gallopers, particularly first time in Hong Kong. So got a lot of time for him, and I still might have a little bet on him, but I just don't know if he's come up a bit short for mine as well at the $6.60. But Ching for mine, he draws gate 6. He'll get a midfield sit, and I think with the lighter weight, Lyle can be a little bit more positive than he was forced to be last time. I think they can go find the 1-1. As I said, with that light weight, you want to be utilising it and get these horses at the top of the weights, get them off the bit nice and early, particularly when you've got fitness on your side. He's had plenty of starts this preparation as well. As I said, unlucky not to be winning a few of them. Bifrosted this gelding. He's going very, very well. I've been with him, I feel like probably every start this prep, and when you've been with them and they just tend to find bad luck and you've got genuine reasons to be backing them again, I want to be sticking. And so I've gone with Ching on top. It's a nice race, though. A horse like King's Capital has just started to really thrive as of late. I mentioned the Beauty Eternal form lines. That just continues to look better. Step up to the mile looks interesting as well. So I've got time for him. Prince Alex, if he drew a little bit better, I'd definitely have him in around the numbers. Feel like it'd be D-Day for a lot of punters with having Nagila. I know that's a horse a lot of people have had time for. And then, as I said, Alacrity as well. Another horse I've got some time for. But I've gone with Ching. Yes, he's favourite. He's probably come up a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but I've got to be backing him. I think he's been unlucky. I think he can win up in grade. Very nice horse. Big fan of Ching, and hopefully Lyle can take out the finale.
Yes, right. So chain number 12 in race time, he will be up in class 3 for the first time. Nathan just mentioned a lightweight for him should be very favorable. He is really consistent. Do you agree with that, Steve?
Yes, I do. I like Ching, number 12, drawn 6, a handsome son of Frosters. Nathan has said he two-back, he won very nicely, beat Flying Mojito, and should really have gone back-to-back. Actually, in a way, it's probably done him a favour because he's only gone up £1 to 61. So he gets off a very, very nice weight, just crept in and to a class 3 and no more, which is good. It's also heartening two-back. He was a good third to Tamra Blitz, and Tamra Blitz has subsequently won very readily in a class 3. And he's also just a handsome, well-made horse, Ching. He looks like he's got loads of scope for improvement as well. Just a very nice horse. I think he's going to go a long way. But an interesting race, of course. Alacrity has Hong Kong Derby aspirations, and we probably need to win this if he's going to realise them. Gate 13, once again, that's a real blow for Jamie Richards. Gate 13, he'll be dropped in once more. But yeah, an interesting race. Beauty Inspire as well, a dual winner for Gerald Lyons in Ireland, who made a very nice debut, a 5th on debut in Hong Kong. But then I think saw too much daylight last time, could easily bounce back. But I think he probably might need a bit more time, I would say. Massive Action was one I tipped to win two-back. He made all that day. I think he's a bit too keen for his own good, and I'm sure the last time he got out far too quick. And Vincent Ho, I think, was scrambling, looking around for some cover, but there was no takers. So he was a reluctant leader and pulled a bit too hard and nothing left. He's a bit of a win or bust horse, Massive Action. I think if he comes out and leads, he either stays there or he gets overhauled quite easily. And but if he finds some cover, I wouldn't rule out Massive Action. There's also, of course, King's Capital as well. He's £7 below his last winning mark. And he was just kind of going through the motions. But the application of blinkers seems to have really worked the oracle. 4th to Super Sunny Singh. And he's closely matched with Prince Alex on that running, and a very good 3rd last time to Beauty Eternal. The other horse I included is Having Nagila. Hava Nagila, a 3-time winner in his native Ireland for Ken Condon. And he's an acclaimed gelding, shaped well in 4 local starts, including a nice 6-2 voyage bubble over track and trip 2-back. And I think the last time in the race that was sadly cut short due to unfortunate circumstances, I think he was travelling quite nicely, powerfully on the rail, in fact, under Silvestre de Souza. And he's an interesting one. But for me, Ching, I think that of a nice competitive weight that he'll carry easily, given the size of him, and Lyle Hewitson, who knows him, I think Ching's a good chance in the final race.
Yeah, right. So number 12, Ching, another agreement between Nathan and Steve in race 10. I also think he is the horse to beat, but I'm with number 2, Beauty Inspire, because this time the main reason I'm having him is because he is having Hugh Bowman on board, because the horse is quite green recently after arriving to Hong Kong. But Hugh Bowman is good at riding these kind of horses. So going back to his overseas form when he was racing in Ireland, he was already owned by the Beauty stable, and then he had great results there. And after arriving here, he is settling well, I think, because he made his debut finishing 5th under James McDonald. It was a great run because he stayed wide without cover for the whole trip, but he still managed to chase well and finishing behind the leader, just less than a length. And the second up, this will be last time out. He was up into a mile, and he also changed the riding tactic. Luke Curry was on board last time out, and the horse was just leading. And after that, I checked the report. Luke Curry was saying that the horse was too keen, too green, so that there was no choice of they need to lead. And actually he didn't want to do that, but the horse was too green to do that. So this time I think he already had a race experience over a mile, and this time I just mentioned that a change of a jockey, Hugh Bowman will be better of handling this kind of horse. So maybe after breaking from gate 4, this time he will be finding a cover. Maybe the leader in this field will be Massive Action, just the barrier next to him, gate number 5. So maybe Massive Action will take the lead, and hopefully Beauty and Inspire can stay in the box seats behind the leader, which will be much more better for him to keep till the end, or even to show some chase in the last furlong in the home straight. So I will go for number 2, Beauty Inspire. So to recap race 10, Nathan and Steve agree with number 12, Ching, and I will go for number 2, Beauty Inspire. So after talking about the 3 legs of the treble, let's talk about our best bets last time out at Happy Valley. Nathan and Steve's best bet win it. And Nathan, who do you like as your best bets today?
Yeah, we'll see how we go here. We'll go back to race number 3 on the program for the best bets. We're looking at number 1, Courier Wonder. Now, I mentioned before, I think whoever Hugh Bowman's race manager is, he needs to get a promotion, because he needs a bit of a sling here, because he just seems to be picking up all of Zach Burton's rides. I'm with number 1, Courier Wonder. I just think it's D-Day. This is it for him. When he first sort of came onto the scene in Hong Kong, he went bang 5 in a row, picket fence together, and his last win was all the way back in May of 2021. Since then, though, I just feel like he's been running into some star gallopers. Every time it seems like you either see Wellington or Lucky Swayness in the form book that's been beating him. He's just been constantly around the numbers, even going back to the likes of Skyfield and Stronger. And so he's been right around that Group 1 company. And this is the first time he's dropped back into Class 1 for a very, very long time. He draws perfectly here in Gate 2. I just think in the smaller field, we've got 2 genuine speedsters that will go across in Campione and also Nervous Witness, drawn at gates 7 and 8. I see those 2 going very, very quick. They'll ping the leads. They'll go straight across. And from gate 2, all Hugh Bowman has to do is jump, and he's there. He can find the 1-1. He doesn't have to do too much work. And if they do overdo it, he's going to get the last crack, and maybe a few other horses as well, because I think they're going to run time here. I think they're going to go very, very quickly. And I think if Courier Wonder can just come off his last start run, he ran 4th in behind Lucky Swayness, obviously last time out in the Group 1, where he finally got his Group 1 success against Wellington, which he well deserved. I thought he was a very good run. They ran time. He was back in the field. And he only just missed third placing behind Sight Success, who you can tie that form line for a lot of these gallopers as well. Even a horse like Master 8, I feel like maybe today's the day they change their tactics. They'll go forward as well. So everywhere I look, I just see plenty of tempo. Courier Wonder should be the benefit factor of that and just get a lovely run in transit. This is it. He's got to carry the top weight. It's definitely a query with the 135 pounds. He's giving weight to some very, very nice types. But if he doesn't come out and win this, or at least go very, very close, I find it hard to be tipping Courier Wonder again going forward, because I just don't know where they can find a race for him. This has to be it. If he's going to come out and find a win, I just don't see how else they can find one. They're just not quite up to that group level, but Class 1, top weight against this sort of lot, I think he can do it, and I think he can lug the weight. Hugh Bowman on these top weights as well. There's no one else you'd rather have on board. So Courier Wonder, for me, I'll make him the best bet of the day, and I think is a fair price at $3. I feel I marked him around $2.30, $2.40, and again, I think you're getting a good price because there's no Zach Purton on Sunday afternoon. So I'm happy to be with Courier Wonder. I'll make him the best bet of the afternoon.
Yeah, so race 3, number 1, Courier Wonder. This time is a huge class dropper, racing in class 1 for a very long time. And Hugh Bowman on board, I think the horse is big enough, really big in size to overcome the top weights. And Steve, what do you think? I remember Courier Wonder is one of your favorite horses in Hong Kong, but what do you pick as your best bet?
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I do like Courier Wonder. I mean, eight line up. He's the class angle for sure. I went for Rewarding Together just to talk about Courier Wonder. As Nathan says, he won his 5 races as a 3-year-old, culminating in the Group 3 Chatin Vase. And then he's failed to record another win in 9 starts. All his wins were without blinkers. Now he wears blinkers. According to John Size, Courier Wonder, he basically wasn't strong enough to mix it with the top speedsters last season, and he was given 9-month break, so he came back in October. And I mean, he's certainly done well. He's some good runs there, 4th in the Longines Hong Kong Sprint, and then 4th in the Centenary Cup. So he's mixing it. I'm just not convinced about him. And a bit like Adafel, his price actually gives a bit of an angle to some other horses in the race. I do like Rewarding Together. It's a horse that I've always had a lot of time for. And he's just a model of consistency, continues to improve, needed his run first up this season, and then he scored back-to-back over the 1,200 metres at Happy Valley. And then his last run was excellent. It was a great second to Sight Success on the Bohemia Sprint over the straight 5,000 metres, 5 furlongs at Charene. He had Courier Wonder behind him that day. I wouldn't read too much into that. I don't think Courier Wonder's 1,000 metres is his bag at all. Probably more Rewarding Together's, if truth be told. But after that, he came up with an excellent third too. He was a slow starter in a Class 1 handicap, Rewarding Together, stayed on to be within about 2.5 lengths of Astrologer, arguably a career best. I thought Matthew Chadwick might have been aggrieved not to be on the horse that day. He's piloted him to 5 of his 6 wins, and he gets his chance now, Matthew Chadwick. It's just a consistent horse, 19 runs, and 6 firsts, 6 seconds, 3 thirds. There's only 4 times he hasn't been in the top 3. And although all his wins have come at Happy Valley, I wouldn't read too much into that either. He's run 7 times at Chatin, and he's only been out of the frame twice. So he's been second 3 times, beaten a short head on one of these occasions. But so that's the one for me. Ironically, Chadwick actually fared better on Grateful Heart the last time in the Class 1. He was second, and of course, SDS was third. But yes, for me, Rewarding Together. So unless we get a dead heat, one of us is going to be disappointed.
Yeah, we're having a best Canada between Nathan and Steve, because Steve's best race 3, number 4, Rewarding Together. He's really consistent and really honest. I think a very honest type of horse, always really lovely to and interesting to pick it. And for me, my best bet will be earlier in the card. I like race 2. Number 3, Excellent Fighter. He is a up-and-coming 4-year-old who is also lightly raced, only having 3 stars already in Hong Kong. On his debut, he racing over the straight course under German Narrow, and this horse won on debut very impressively. And the second up for him, he was a bit unlucky because he did not have a clear one as a back marker, but he also managed to chase well. And also last time, I think there were so many excuses for him him, and his performance was really eye-catching because it was his first time to racing over the turn over 1200 meters, but he was breaking from the wide draw, so he did not find a good position with cover, but he could still run well, keep the speed lastly, and finishing fourth behind the horses, behind the winner. But this time he will also be breaking from the wide draw. But this time, I think in race 2, the other rivals are also lack of experience. That there are several debutants, and also the other horses can also not really experienced, but excellent fighter. He is improving. I think as a 4-year-old, he is still unexposed and improving. So if he can overcome the wide draw this time, because Sylvester de Souza keeps riding the horse. He is very familiar with the horse, so hopefully they can overcome the bad draw together and have some good performance. So he will be my best bet for the day. So to recap our best bet, Nathan's race 3, number 1, Korea Wonder. For Steve, race 3 again, number 4, Rewarding Together. And for me, my best bet, race 2, number 3, Excellent Fighter. So after talking about the best bets, let's talk about some outsider that we like. Nathan, who do you pick as your value bet?
Yeah, I don't usually go to Class 5, but I feel like I had to because there's a horse here that I feel like it's just the wrong price. I had a look this morning and I thought, well, okay, where do I want to look? Do I want to look at one of the all-weather races? Do I want to, sort of look at one of the classier turf races? But no, I'm going to the Class 5 here. Race number 4 on the program. I've went with number 2. It's called Inspiring City. Drops down in the Class 5 for the first time, and I thought this horse was pretty damn good behind Son Pak Fu last time in Class 4. That was at Happy Valley. We referenced that form with Americ Despexo coming out and winning on Wednesday night. And then you look at Righteous Arian, who was just, it looked like he was going to win on Wednesday night, but then suddenly Snow-A-Lot came through the middle and got the bob on the line. And so you can tie the form in really, really nicely. Comes back in the Class 5 for the first time, does Inspiring City. We get Matthew Poon on board, gets a little bit of an allowance as well with the slight claim he has in Hong Kong. So he gets in with a pretty good weight despite going against Class 5 company. Draws barrier 1 as well. I think it's a perfect gate. He's, again, another horse that's been luckless from the barriers. 11, 10, 9, and 12 his last 4 starts. And now from barrier 1, he's a horse that sort of tends to miss it a tad. But if he can just jump genuinely, sit somewhere midfield, I think he's a very good bet here for David Hayes. He's got him going pretty well this preparation. And you go all the way back to his when he was a Griffin horse. He had some nice runs at Sha Tin, so I'm not concerned about him coming back to Sha Tin. I actually feel like he's probably better suited to the bigger track rather than the tight turning one at Happy Valley. So I think there's a lot of positives to take out of him. And the fact that what are we getting? 8.1 and 2.4 on the place line. I'm happy to load in on the each way. I think it's a very nice each way bet on the program. And for a race where, you look at it all around, there's, I don't want to be disrespectful. There's a few non-winners here. You look at Zaishin down the bottom of the page. He's come up favourite. 31 starts without a win yet. Do you want to be loading into him? Probably not. And you look at some other horses. Happy Forever. I thought he was okay last time. Another class dropper I've got time for. Strive for Glory is probably one of the more consistent ones in Class 5 that goes, he tends to step out nicely most weekends. But I just kept looking at the race and I just kept going back to what's the horse that I think has at least some upside, and that's Inspiring City. And despite it being Class 5, I think he's got a little bit of class on his rivals here. Just needs to get a nice jump from the gate, and I think he'll be very, very competitive. So I'll go with Inspiring City as the best value on the card. Hopefully we can have some kind of replication of HK Dragon from Wednesday night. I don't think it'll be as impressive, but hopefully he can get the win.
Yeah, right. So Nathan's value bet race for number 2, Inspiring City. He's quite an interesting runner, class dropper, first time racing in Class 5, but he is lucky enough to get a good draw. And also a quick mention about the sire of Inspiring City, Impending. His progeny is not only doing well in Australia, but also in Hong Kong. So hopefully Inspiring City can be classy in Class 5. So hopefully he can break well from the good draw and have some good performance, just like Nathan's value bet last time at Happy Valley, HK Dragon. And Steve, what about you? Can you remind us who will be your value bet?
Yeah, just wanted to say, actually, I went for Inspiring City myself in the blog. Nice horse, isn't he? Yeah, well drawn, lightly raced, bit more scope than some of the ones that just never win.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Zacian, who will be a long-standing maiden, but will win tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Go back to race number 9, and that is number 5, Lightning Bolt, drawn 4. Again, I was looking for other horses. I kind of like Fortune Marble and Delisle Hewitson in the opener. I thought he was value, but to be honest, I didn't think Lightning Bolt would be about $7-8. I didn't think for some reason I thought he'd be half that. And even with Adderfield in the race, I thought Lightning Bolt's unlucky run last time under Bowman would be enough to make him sort of below $5. But it was a pleasant surprise to see him at some $7-8, especially being nicely drawn as well. But for me, yeah, that's the horse. But again, it's a very open race. You have Adderfield, you have Elon, which is a very interesting horse. Street Stream, who knows, might take to the dirt, even though he hasn't exactly shone on it before, and even likes of High Rise Soldier at the bottom. But yes, for me, I think it's a nice horse. He's 2 from 12, Lightning Bolt. I think he's got a bit more to give on the all-weather surface too. So that's the one I'm going for. Normally, I like to look for something out with the last 3 races, but on this occasion, I thought it was just a nice price, so I went with Lightning Bolt to strike.
Yes, it is good to pick race 9, number 5, Lightning Bolts as your value bet. He gets a good jockey on board like Hewitson takes the rise again. And my value bet is also in the treble races, race 8, number 2, Safinai, because the main reason I'm having him is he is returning from a spell. Maybe now in the middle of the season, it is good to select some horses that do not have so many runs, so many starts in the season, because Hong Kong is a very special country for racing. We only have 88 meetings in a season, but we only have nearly around 1,200 horses here. So some horses, we see that in the middle of the season, they already raced for so many times, and maybe they will be a bit tired. So Safinai returning from a spell, he was doing well at Chongfa, and after coming back from Chongfa, he also has several good gallops at Charene. So I think he is now fit enough for racing, and also maybe he can surprise you after a spell. So race 8, number 2, Safinai will be my value bet. So that's all for our review for today's race card at Charene. Hopefully we can bring you some winner, and let's enjoy the meeting later. Hopefully we can see you next time for the Happy Valley preview. And once again, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.